Hello, welcome to the Hood Rat to Harvard podcast. I am your host, Chandrika Simmons, also known as the Law Chick, also known as Hood Rat to Harvard on all social medias. You can find me at hoodrattoharvard.com as well as lawchick.com, LAWCHIC. We have a very special guest here today. I'm excited because I bump her album like I wrote it myself. And I think I am her in my car with my karaoke machine and my microphone. We have Aliah Sheffield here with us today. How are you doing today, Miss Sheffield?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing okay, just surviving. How are you doing?
I'm surviving and thriving, baby. Glad to be alive in the land of living and in my right mind. Hello.
Yes.
So again, I love your album. You dropped the album that you probably curated during the pandemic. We can talk about that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but you dropped your album, and the name of the album is.
These songs are for anyone sick of Earth, and it actually is an EP. It's not an album, but
I'm old.
people call it an album, but it's an EP.
You here's the thing, you're gonna school me right now about what's the difference between an EP versus an album. Because even if you tell me it's an EP, 5 minutes from now I'm gonna say it's an album still. So go ahead, tell me what's the difference between an EP and an album.
I guess is EP is like an extended play. I guess what that stands for, and it's just like a selection of songs that you want to put out before you put out your album. At least that's how I take it. And an album is usually longer. EPs are also they can also be shorter, but an album is usually longer than EPs are.
Okay, because your EP album in my world got like 7 slides on it that I don't skip. So I figured it was an album because I got a whole enjoyment for at least 30 minutes. So I
Oh,
was
so that's good. That's good. I mean, well, technically, my EP is 24 minutes, so it feel like 30 minutes because the topics are heavy sometimes.
yeah.
It's definitely just a collection of songs that I wanted to put out before I put out an album.
And then how many singles have you put out so far?
Two.
Okay, and what are those singles?
I put out Earth is Ghetto. Maybe I put out three singles. Earth is Ghetto. A song called Boo Boo the Fool, and
Mm.
I put out Good for the Money.
Oh, girl, I love the range in that. When you come in and it's like you do your vocals, you stacking them. I absolutely adore that song. And the other one is
Oh.
to be your own people.
I don't like people. Oh, some of your people. Oh yeah,
People, it be your own
yeah.
girl, it be your own people. I
It
love
just be your own people. It definitely is your own people sometimes.
I absolutely adore that song. So we know that you're an artist, a musical artist, and so you can tell me what other professional roles you might have, or how you like being an artist, or anything you want to talk about that.
Currently I'm only a music artist, and I have been for a while. Like I've been either teaching music or working at piano bars and stuff like that. But that's been my main role is just being a music artist and writing songs.
Oh, so you write songs, you're a musical artist. So in addition to singing, do you play any instruments?
I play piano.
Oh, why? So you compose all your songs prior to your own, well, on your own before you took them over to somebody else to do all the mixing and
Yeah. Yeah, I usually I put them on. I usually record everything on piano first, and then I go to producer and say, "Hey, what can we do with this?" And that's how the songs are usually made.
oh wow, that's great. And so you have do you have a go-to producers, or you just go to somebody who you vibing with at the time?
I wouldn't say I necessarily have a go-to producers, but I do like have producers that I've worked with that I really like and want to continue working with in the future.
Okay. And so your album for those who basically sick of the earth.
It's
That
a mouthful.
it was made for me. That's because I'm sick and I'm on 15th Street too, and I got my neon jacket on. And I'm ready to go too. I'm being ready to go. So how did this EP come about?
I wrote this EP. Well, I started writing some of the songs during the pandemic, and I happened to be living in Mexico at the time when I wrote them because I was trying to escape America. And Earth is Ghetto I was like the first song on that EP, And I wrote that literally walking down the block that I was living on, Avenida 15, because they say Avenida there. And it was a corner store, and I'm walking in the corner store. You can't go in the corner store because it's all barred up, and they hand you stuff through the windows because of pandemic. So that's how that came along. And then when that song went viral, I just spent time working on other songs. Like I wrote Boo Boo the Fool literally the same day as I wrote Earth is Ghetto.
Oh, I love Boo Boo the Fool because it reminds me of growing up and what my grandparents used to say to me when you tried to manipulate them something. And like, girl, I'm not Boo Boo the Fool. Definitely not one of your little friends. So that song resonates in my spirit. I bump that on a regular.
My mother used to say that too, and used to always say, "I ain't one of your little friends," and all. So she laughed when I told her the name of the song.
And so were you the songwriter for all the songs?
Yes, I was.
Nobody helped you. You had any co-writers or anything like that?
So it's weird when you produce songs. When you produce songs, get songs produced, it becomes a co-write because the producer is adding to the demo that you wrote. And like, Good for the Money, I did write with somebody else. I wrote it with my friend Joshua, artist name. He goes by Jaja Devore, and we wrote it because. Uh, we were just going through a lot of stuff during the pandemic. Like his car broke down. I don't even drive, so that line is always funny to me. But we wrote it because we both lost our jobs during the pandemic, and just stuff kept happening, and one after the other. I was staying on his couch when I wrote that song in Atlanta. So yeah, that's one song I did write with another songwriter. And I worked on Earth is Ghetto with a producer named Pop Wanzel, and he produced that after the song went viral on Instagram. He reached out, and we ended up working on that. And I also worked with another producer named Dawood, and he's great. And I worked with these two producers, Noah and Ken from Denmark, for Never Drinking. And that was such a cool experience. Just having somebody that far get you and understand what you want to do. And I Don't Like People is my friend George playing guitar on that song.
Oh wow! So you had a lot of nice collaborations. It sounds like. I
Yeah.
like the drinking song because I don't drink by choice, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. So as I said, we have a whole lot of things in common. I don't drink. I'm sick of Earth. I am not beautiful. I'm not one of your little friends. And I like to read, and I heard that you like to read too. So, what books are you currently reading?
I'm currently reading Atlas 6. I'm doing a reread because the last book of the series just came out.
Hmm.
Um, I'm also reading a book series called The Diviners. I have a few choice words about that series. It's a very interesting series, but it's some stereotypes in there that I'm not fond of. So some of
Oh,
the characters are colored. The POC characters. I'm like, you could have worked on that a little bit, but the story is interesting. I'm always reading a bunch of books at once, so.
oh, at once. Okay, so you do the same thing I do. So my favorite author is J. California Cooper, and so I've read every book that she's ever written, and I've read them at least 2 or 3 times. That's just how good they are to me. So I'm a staunch supporter of rereading a book because you get something. I think you get something different from it
Yeah,
the
you
second read.
you get something out of it every time you read it. Because at first, especially if you're reading a lot of fantasy or sci-fi like me, you're at first you're learning to understand the world. So the second time around, you get what the world is, get the rules of the book and the world, and it just makes it a different experience for you.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Um, I also heard that you are an introvert like myself.
Hmm.
People think that I'm not because of my personality and how I handle myself. But
I
I
could
prefer,
do it sometimes.
yeah, but I prefer to be at home by myself or with playing karaoke in my house, watching documentaries or talking shit to the TV. That's my judge. So you being, do you consider yourself an introvert?
Oh, I'm truly an introvert. If I couldn't get away with never leaving the house, I would.
So you had the choice between drinks with a friend or staying in the house. Your choice is going to be
In the house.
always.
One, because I don't drink alcohol anymore and I have to be sober for this. And I do love my friends, but it's not even being sober for being around the friends, it's for being around everybody else. The public is out there.
Yeah, the interaction with dealing with others. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. Like my social media tank gets depleted real fast.
Mm-hmm.
I have a low tolerance for mediocre people, lowbrow conversations. And so, in order for me just to not put a kibosh on the event, I just stay my ass at home.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not about to fake the funk. Just FaceTime me or something. I'm not going. I'm not going. Get somebody else.
Right. The difference between a lot of people in the pandemic, a lot of people losing their mind.
Oh my God. I did not necessarily lose my mind about not being able to go outside. I lost my mind about everybody else that was losing their mind and driving me up the wall about them not being able to go outside. I was fine with staying in and protecting myself, but the amount of people that are like, oh, you have to get over this. Oh, you don't care about our relationship or our friendship because you don't want. I don't have insurance. That's what I don't care about. I was staying in the house. I'm not trying to catch nothing because I couldn't sit by behind that.
That part, I'm with that one as well. I lost. I think I stopped counting at 82. I lost 82 people during the pandemic. Now these not people that I know about. This not people
Yeah,
I heard about. These are actual people that I fellowship with, had
yeah,
relationships some way, form, or fashion. And so that was taking a mental toll on me of
yeah.
losing all those people. But and then so other folks wanted to be outside so bad, and then here I am losing all these people, and
Exactly.
act right when they go out. You want to fight. You don't want to comply. You want to keep touching stuff. You don't want to wash your hands. You don't want to.
We got the people who don't even want to admit that is who want to say, "Oh, it's not even real." I'm like, I know people who have died from this,
Right.
perfectly healthy people before this that have passed away because of this. Don't That's disrespectful to the people who've lost people to this. Disrespectful to the people who lost their lives. And one thing the pandemic showed me is a lot of people cannot sit with themselves, and that's why they're not introverts. They can't sit with themselves. They can't sit in the house with themselves. Half of them can't even go to a restaurant by themselves, let alone just be in the house with themselves.
Oh, that's true. And I think when I was younger, if I can recall, I was younger. I think I had one child then, and she was with her father for the weekend. My aunt called me on the phone, and I was just sitting there drinking me some Boone's Farms. So I can get it from the liquor store 2 for $3. That's how old
Mhm.
I am. That's how old I am. And I was just sitting there listening to me some music, drinking me some Boone's Farm out of a wine glass. And she called me. She's like, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm just sitting in the dark, listening to some music, drinking." She's like, "Bitch, you a fucking alcoholic. Why are you sitting in the dark?" I said, "Because I really enjoy my motherfucking company. I really,
Exactly. People don't understand that. If you enjoy your own company and you choose your own company over other people, they don't understand it.
yeah, I'm a whole vibe." People ask me, "Oh, because of my social media following," people like, "Oh yeah, you a whole vibe." I am, bitch.
Mhm.
And I'm a whole vibe by myself. I really like. I fill up a whole room with nobody but me in it.
And I don't understand why people don't get that you could. Some people just enjoy being on their own.
Yeah, and I like to go to dinner by myself. I like to eat at a restaurant. If I go out, I'm cool with going by myself. Like here in Detroit, we have certain restaurants, they have private rooms. I'm like, "Can I get one of those?" And they like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." Are you anybody joining you? No, baby, just me.
It's
Just
it's so it's just really interesting to me.
yeah, just me. So what I heard was that the pandemic kind of impacted your friendship circles. How have your friendship circles grown or not grown since the pandemic?
I would say mostly it's kind of shrunk a lot because there was a lot of people that just weren't sensitive to the fact that I didn't want to be outside, and because I was at one point wearing protective suits on the airplane if I had to go somewhere, and people just did not get that, and weren't understanding at all. And it's just once you realize people don't even care enough about your health to accept that you're not going out because of them, then that's just not a friendship for you.
Right. I understand that. I'm glad that the friends that I have cultivated over the years, we kind of all understood, and we have understanding. We don't have to talk to each other every day to
Mhm.
understand how each other rolls. So I'm glad my circle didn't change. I still have the same core. I can count on one hand. I love that to the moon. Um, Now I'm a proponent of making sure that your mental health is on par, because it's never going to be correct.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah. Not,
every
not in the way the society is now. Until they correct society, so a lot of people gonna have mental issues.
Right. So what is your biggest challenge that you've had to overcome as far as your mental health?
Um, I would say not beating myself up on a bad day,
Mm.
and just letting myself feel those feelings.
Oh. Oh, I understand that. I have a child who experiences that a lot. That they sometimes they get stuck where they are, and they can't get out of it. And they need some coaching and coaxing to get out of it. So I understand. I understand that. Um, Me, I battle with depression,
Same.
and that's all. And depression has its levels. Mine is not so severe as to I can't get out the bed. Because I know some
Mine
people that suffer.
mine could be, I can't get out of bed some days, so I truly, yeah, I truly get depression.
Yeah, and then but mine hits me where I have thoughts of being somewhere else and not in this space in this moment, as I have to be able to learn how to anchor myself
Hmm.
with my thoughts and processing. And I'm glad I have a good support system that recognizes that this is going to happen from time to time and my
Yeah,
make. So that's good. So you have the support that you need as far as on your mental health journey.
I have support, and it's helpful. I just kind of just lean on myself a little more sometimes because I'm a little isolated. But I do have people that support me.
That's good. Life lessons. We all going through life because life be life. And what life lessons wish you didn't have to learn?
Um, but there's always going to be another bill. Always going to be something. That's the biggest life. Like, it's always going to be another bill. It's always going to be another problem that you have to solve. There's never going to just be a consistent moment of comfort, and that it depends on what comfort means to you. But there's never going to be a consistent moment where you don't have to worry about anything.
Mm,
You're always going to have to worry about something.
yeah, I think I read a book years ago called Life Interrupted. I can't remember. A Girl Interrupted. Maybe it was Girl Interrupted. It was a book I read
Hmm.
years ago, and that's when I learned that lesson through that book. That everything it's like the mentality of you thinking the shoe is going to when the shoe is going to drop. I dropped that mentality, but I picked up that keep being happy, but be conscious. Keep your head on a swivel. That
Yeah.
something is going to occur that you're going to have to be prepared to address
Hmm.
in one way, shape, or form. You're going to have to be prepared to address it. So I get that. That is a life lesson that a lot of people don't. Everybody's going through it. Most people don't realize that that's going to come, and so they get frustrated when life be hitting them really hard. But they wasn't really mentally prepared to accept the fact that life is going to just life.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay. If your day fails to go as planned, how do you react to it?
I go back to bed. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, well, time for me to go back to bed. I'll go back to bed at 4 o'clock.
I wish.
Because
I
it's especially now the sun going down at 4. If my day not going, if it get to be about 2 o'clock and the day still going down the drain, I'm getting ready for bed, and I'm gonna be in bed at 4.
but you know what? That's a good relief. I tell my kids that sometimes too, that any problem that they're tackling at the time, if you don't get overwhelmed in the moment about it, realize that it's happening, but go to bed.
Yep, take a nap,
Because
wake
when you
up,
wake up,
wake up again.
yeah, you're gonna wake up with a different set of eyes with it because you're
Mhm.
gonna be a new person when you wake up. It's just what it is, and you're gonna look at it in a different way. And so that's going to bed. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Either that or I write about how bad the day went.
Right, Miss Songwriter.
Yeah, but one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write about a bad day.
Me too. Whether it's writing it inside some legalese or singing it out in a song, I'm gonna start that I made up in my head. I'm gonna write that too. Um, Given that you're on this journey for living life in your purpose, it seems like because you're an artist and you've done this EP, you wrote these songs and it resonated with a lot of people. What do you think your purpose for existing is?
Um, I don't necessarily know what my purpose for existing is. I'm pretty sure I'm just being reincarnated for comedic relief at this point. But but I would like to think that my purpose is to make other people feel like they're not alone.
Oh, oh, I can see that. Oh, yeah, I can see that because that's how I feel. Like when I stumbled upon you, and then when your EP dropped, and I'm listening to it, it felt that's how I felt. It felt like you were singing about me,
Mm.
like you knew, like you had all the nuances, all the things that were occurring in my life, and it made me feel seen.
People tell me that a lot, and it just makes me feel like I'm making a difference to people, even if it's not necessarily the most positive song. Let people know it's okay to feel these things. It's okay that you're going to get out of these things because they're not only happening to you; it's happening to other people too.
Yeah, I think I felt it the most with the I Don't Like People All Up in My House. That song, because I say I have a saying, my kids say it now too. Company and fish stink after 3 days.
Mhm.
So you can't stay here too long because I really don't like people all up in my house. I really don't.
Exactly. I personally don't be letting anybody over here. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Y'all can find somebody else to bother. Leave me alone.
I am a hip hop fan. I'm like I said, I'm older. Hip hop is turned 50 last year, and I'll be turning 50 this year. So if you are indeed a hip hop fan, or you are a lover of hip hop, that you can be a lover and not be a fan. What was the song, if any, that made you fall in love with hip hop?
Um, I'm trying to think. Changes. Tupac.
Really?
Yeah.
That was like the Marvin Gaye of our generation. That song. That was like let's get on
What's going on?
what's going on for our generation, the changes. A lot of people don't agree with that, but
I agree. I fully agree with it because it's like every night I'm always quoting that. I'm always quoting that song. It was that and keep your head up, and it just made me realize at a young age how impactful music can be, and
right.
how music can be something that you can connect to other people with.
I think with a lot of Tupac songs are timeless, and I believe that that song is one of those that is timeless. If that song were to drop right now, it is still relevant to this day.
Hmm.
Everything that he said in there, and keep your head up too. I don't think it can drop at any time in any century on this earth, and it's going to be applicable. So
Yep.
yeah, I agree with that. That's a good one. Tupac. Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I
Yeah,
really
I'm definitely a Tupac fan. But I ain't gonna lie, I put hit him up on right after keep your head up.
I play hit
You
with
gotta have balance.
before I when I'm getting ready for trial. They asked me the other day. Some people asked me like, "What do you?" Because I listen to classical music a lot, and it's like, "Do you listen to classical music when you're preparing for trial?" I was like, "No, I'm a little bit Little John, East Side Boys, little Tupac, Hit 'Em Up, little Ice Cube, Jacking for Beats, No Vaseline. That's more how I'm preparing it for a trial because get it. You know what I'm saying? That's
I
where
need,
I'm with it.
I need to go to court with you. I'm gonna call you.
Because I got to get my mind right. I got to shake everything off. Um, Now you have the world's attention for 5 minutes. What are you going to say?
I had the world's attention for 5 minutes.
5 minutes just it focus on you.
Hmm. Let's we need to stop playing oppression Olympics and have everybody that's impoverished, everybody that's just not at the top of the food chain. Y'all need to get together. Y'all need to get together and like join forces or something, because being against each other because one suffered more or less in your eyes is not helping any of us. And it's a quote I'm always saying: none of us are free until all of us are free. And I
Correct.
need people to realize this. They want you fighting against each other. They want the poor fighting against the poor. They don't want y'all to have enough time to pay attention to what the 1% are doing.
Right. I am in totally agreement with it. I think this last 2 weeks, I don't know what's happening in the atmosphere and the universe, how it's shifting,
Mm-hmm.
but it does seem like there's a lowbrow and highbrow game of oppression Olympics. And I've said this.
It really does, and I don't understand it. I'm like, I just don't get it. Maybe it's just the way my mind works. Maybe it's the way I was raised. I just cannot see you want other people to suffer because you suffered.
Right. I had a video to go viral about 2 years ago about student loan debt relief, right?
Hmm.
And I had to cut the comments off on it because it was mainly white people in the comments talking about how I should just pay my own debt, this and that. And I'm just like, do you know how much corporate welfare there is? You
Hmm.
are really concentrating on the wrong individual. I am a black woman living in America who has unfettered student loan debt because I tried to better myself. And then there are corporations who are getting billions in in state assistance and federal assistance from the government that shouldn't have it. And their CEOs are getting millions and billions of dollars in stock options and compensation that they should not have. One individual should not be making that much money. It's just, I don't know why it doesn't resonate.
And you know why it's not clicking? Because everybody, and myself included, had has at one point felt like they had the chance to be one of those people that have all of that money, and they don't want to ruin their chance to do that. So when they see somebody saying, "Oh, the rich shouldn't do this," that's really what it's about. Is because people see themselves being able to accumulate all of that money one day and possibly getting that, and they don't want their chance shot just because they spoke against
Oh, girl, your manager was so correct. Oh,
it.
this is, so like 10, I'm gonna say about 10 years ago. So I'm a former union lawyer. So about ten years ago, I was the head of a union organization, and we
Mhm,
had a meeting, and in that meeting we discussed why the middle class and the lower class economics, not demographics, but economics are infighting and not targeting those who the top 1%. And what we said was, y'all seem to think that y'all are down on your luck millionaires.
mhm.
That's what you think. You think you are down on your luck
You
millionaire.
listen to too many of the motivational podcasts. That's what's happening. We got to stop with the mics for some of these people.
Yes, because I just want you to know, as much as you worship your God and as much as you pray, you are capped. Whatever
exactly.
whatever your God decided for you when your mama pushed you out, that was gonna be it, baby. And I don't care how much you dream and pray and how much work you put in. If it's destined for you, it'll be destined for you. But most likely it's not going to be, because that's just how the world works. And once you adopt that mentality that it's okay to work a 9 to 5 and make a certain amount of money a year and be content with that and just die after doing that, that is absolutely okay. But a lot of people, that does not resonate with them. They want to be a boss. They want
Mhm.
to do this. They want to have this and that. They want to, and baby, that is not for everybody. That is not everybody's trajectory, and most of the time, it's not going to be yours. So yeah, these down your luck millionaires. Oh my God, you are so correct in that. And it seems like it's like it's getting worse.
It is getting worse as time, and it's getting worse now because people are more desperate to reach that because they see, uh, even if they won't admit it out loud, they see how the economy has been going in a downward trajectory for the last 4 years, like rapidly, and it's making people more vicious when it comes to that, because they feel like their chance of getting into that 1% is closing in on them. And
Yeah.
it's closing, and now they're feeling like, oh, it's closing in on me, because now they're helping other poor people like me, and I could have had that job that I didn't want in the first place. So it's a lot of that.
Yeah, that too, because I see it. I had to have the conversation with one of my servicers. This is somebody who I use in my wraparound services in my law business, meaning that I have a go to person for certain things, and this is one of my go to persons for a certain field. And we were having this conversation, and we were talking about uh here in Michigan, there was a school district called Highland Park School District. Highland Park is a city that's located inside the city of Detroit. So the city of Detroit has two cities that are actually inside of it. That's Highland Park and Hamtramck. And Highland Park, they closed the schools that they had. And then the Highland Park's parents and sued the school district and the state for failure to educate their kids. And they lost. I was part of the lawsuit. They lost. Okay. And then she was like, how can somebody go send their child to school and not know that they couldn't read and this and that? And I said, what if they couldn't read? That's a reality here. Like
It is a reality, because you don't know where these parents came from, and especially some of these kids can be kids of immigrants and stuff like that, and they're not like their parents can be like, oh, uh, just go to the office and ask for help and stuff like that. You got to put all of these, half of them just too busy trying to hide. So
right.
you got to really, really think about it. Everybody doesn't come from the same background. Everybody doesn't come from the same education, especially when they have lawmakers making it harder and harder for teachers to even educate these kids and stuff, because they're banning books. They're trying to ban a dictionary. So it's just like,
Banning books, banning the dictionary, rewriting history, whitewashing history,
exactly.
a
It's
myriad of things. And what you fail to
being surprised that some of these kids can't read or are having a hard time with reading because their parents aren't helping them. I don't know why people think that No Child Left Behind thing work. This is the kids being raised now are raised by a lot of the people from the generation of that No Child Left Behind thing, and they're gonna have to uh, learn to deal with that.
right. And I think that the fact that a lot of people don't understand there's levels to privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have certain privileges that I'm aware of that I have, and I'm aware of certain things that I am prevented from having, and certain things that I'm oppressed in. I'm self-aware of that. But there's a lot of people that are not aware of the privilege that they have. One of those is that I have a vehicle. I'm able to get in my car and go somewhere and not have to think twice about it. I'm able to actively read and comprehend at the same time. There are certain
Mhm.
people
Yeah,
that
because that's another thing. Everybody who reading ain't comprehending, because you got all of these people reading these fantasy books with wars that's based off of real life cultures, and they not making the connections.
no, because people don't even realize that things are cyclical. So the cycle, the same 10-year cycle tends to repeat itself every 10 years. What you saw 10 years ago is going to repeat itself again. But most people are not aware of that because they're not aware of the historical context of how we've been living life. I don't know. It's just a lot to deal with when it comes to, again, the oppression Olympics and not being aware of your own biases, your own privileges, and if I think that if everybody, not even I think, I know this is what I know to be true. If everybody truly operate in a society of do all things in love, then you wouldn't do the things that you do. You wouldn't operate how you would, and you wouldn't be voicing opinions that go against or oppress somebody else or take rights away from somebody, because that's not love, right?
It's not, and people don't. I just don't. I don't know. It frustrates me because it's just people claim to have empathy and be empaths and all that, but they don't have the capacity to spread it around to more than one situation. And I'm just never going to understand how you can take that claim but not be able to spread it. It's just,
Right. You can't see out beyond your own backyard.
you can't see by your own nose for one. You just like, it's just really, disappointing to me. I'm very disappointed in humanity. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very disappointed in humanity this week.
No, I felt you. I follow you on all social media, so I was seeing a
Thank
little
you.
glimpse of certain things, like
Yeah.
your song being revamped, and then because Earth is Ghetto, I've seen some people bringing it back up again because of what's happening.
Honestly, every time anything happens in the world, I'm going to be pretty much very aware of it because that song is going to come around, and it's I can't say it's a good thing. It's just something I know
Yeah,
that I'm gonna just be constantly aware of what's going on in the world.
yeah, and I see a lot of people misinterpreting or actually not listening
Actually, look,
to your
fully not listening. I'm pretty sure I was clear.
I'm pretty sure you were clear too. The fact that we live in a country of abundance and we have people who are not housed, that's a problem.
Hmm. It's sad, and you see it a lot more here where I am. I'm in Los Angeles, so that's been something that I've been paying attention to more over the year that I've been living here because it'll be a year in February.
Oh yeah, my daughter used to live in LA, LA proper, and in Hawthorne and Rosita, whatever that place is. But it got too expensive, and I had to move her during the pandemic because it was getting out of hand.
Yeah,
And she,
it's too expensive. Like I'm kind of lucky with my rent. It's under 3,000 now, but I don't know how long much longer that will be.
girl, ain't no way. So I told her, I said, the price you paying for rent in LA, baby, you come to Detroit buy a house.
If it wasn't for music, I would be right back in Mexico.
I know that's right.
I was paying 400 a month there.
That's what I hear, honey. I was like, somebody sent me something about being in Bali, and I could live in Bali for 1,600 a month. I said, what now?
I'm thinking about doing that on the off season of release, and I'm like, I might just go dabble in that. I'm giving LA one more year, because I am doing a lot of recording and stuff out here, but it's just so expensive.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. So I appreciate you agreeing to this interview, and I'm really, my heart is happy that I actually got to speak with you and talk with you because I do feel a kindred soul, and
Thank you. I felt it too. I was like, oh, I like her a lot because my manager's always sending me your videos because he loves your videos. So I
yeah,
was like, yeah, I like her a lot.
yeah, I do. I follow you on all social media, and now to know that we are balancing this universe in many ways, I really appreciate that. So, for our listeners, how can they support you and your work?
You can find me on www.aliahsheffield.com, and we'll have all links to my music and my social media. And you can also find me on www.earthisghetto.com, and that's where my merch and stuff will be.
That's cool. I'm waiting for my merch to come, honey. I bought me some Earth's Ghetto gear, and I'm waiting for it to come because that's how I'm rocking this.
I hope it'll come on time. We're revamping the store right now, so if it's a delay, that's probably why. But we're updating a lot of the merch now because we've had some of that merch since 2020, so it's time.
That's good. I'm looking forward to you having big things. I'm looking forward to you expanding and touching more lives and people finding you and realizing that you should be a part of their village because you speak the voice of those who are voiceless. And I really appreciate that. And I
Thank
thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I appreciate you. And you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay, I gotta.